There was a lush green forest where the trees covered the sky like a great dome. One evening, Father Wolf quietly left his den to find food for his family and went out hunting in the forest. Suddenly, he heard a sound he had never heard before. He looked around and saw among the thick bushes a tiny abandoned baby. "This is a human child," he said. He gently picked up the baby in his mouth without hurting it and carried it back to his den. From a distance, the Tiger Khan, whose eyes blazed like fire, watched as the wolf carried the baby away and grew furious. Because he had stolen that human baby from a nearby village to eat it himself, he secretly followed the wolves, hoping to take the baby back. But Mother Wolf and her cubs approached the little innocent baby with kindness as soon as they saw it. Mother Wolf said, "From now on, we will call him Mowgli. It means brave, because he is a very brave baby." From that day on, Mowgli lived in the forest with his wolf brothers. Mother Wolf fed him with her milk, cared for him as her own, and protected him from danger. Soon, Mowgli became friends with all the animals in the forest. He played happily with them, swung from vines like a monkey, and came to know the forest as his home. Meanwhile, the Tiger Khan watched Mowgli from afar with sharp eyes. He waited for the right time and opportunity to catch him alone and reclaim his prey. One day, the wise leader of the wolf pack, Akela, called the kind bear Baloo and the shadow-silent black panther Bagheera to his side. Since Mowgli was growing day by day, they began to discuss his future. Akela, with a wise voice, gave them their duties. He said that human children are very intelligent and must be raised like a child of the jungle. He ordered Baloo and Bagheera to protect him and teach him the laws of the jungle. Bear Baloo taught him how to climb the tallest trees to find nuts and honey. Mowgli listened carefully to Baloo's fatherly advice. Every day he climbed higher and filled his belly with sweet fruits. Another day, Baloo taught him how to recognize the sounds of the forest, which meant danger and which meant friendship. Now Mowgli could run as fast as a deer and swim as well as an otter. Bagheera taught Mowgli how to recognize the cruel traps humans set for animals and how to escape them.
But one day, one of Mowgli's wolf brothers was caught in one of the pit traps.
The tiger Khan wanted to eat the helpless young wolf for lunch.
However, Mowgli acted before the tiger and used his intelligence to save his brother from the pit.
When Khan realized he had been defeated again by this small human child, he went mad with rage. Baloo taught Mowgli some magic words to use whenever he was in trouble in the jungle. Mowgli quickly memorized these magic words and believed that no animal in the forest could ever harm him again. Realizing he could not capture Mowgli alone, the tiger went to the Banderlogs, the most dangerous and lawless monkeys in the jungle. He told them about the clever human child named Mowgli. One of the Banderlogs said that if Mowgli taught them everything he knew, they could become the wisest creatures in the forest. Then they would rule the whole jungle. One day, Mowgli was building a shelter of branches for himself and his wolf family before a coming storm. The Banderlogs were silently watching him from the treetops. They decided to seize the moment and kidnap him. As the sun set, Mowgli was suddenly grabbed by two monkeys and carried away.
He was swiftly taken over the treetops to a hill where the forest grew very thick.
Soon, the young boy found himself surrounded by hundreds of Banderlog monkeys. When he realized he had been kidnapped by these dreadful creatures, he did not panic. He began to think.
He had to find a way to tell Baloo and Bagheera that he had been kidnapped.
At that moment, he saw the vulture Chill gliding through the sky. He remembered the magic words Baloo had taught him and shouted with all his strength, "We be of one blood, thou and I." Hearing these words, the vulture knew at once that Mowgli was a friend and in danger. He approached him quietly so no one would see. Mowgli said, "You must tell Baloo and Bagheera that I've been captured. I need help."
Vulture Chill replied, "Of course. I'll tell them right away, brother." When a Banderlog came near them,
But just then a monkey appeared. The monkey was about to attack the vulture, but Chill flew away quickly. Then the Banderlogs took Mowgli to their city, the Cold Lairs. It was a place deep in the jungle, long abandoned by humans centuries ago. Mowgli tried to escape, but there were too many monkeys, and each time he was caught again. Thanks to Vulture Chill, Baloo and Bagheera learned that Mowgli had been kidnapped. So they decided to ask for help from Kaa, the great python, to rescue him. They knew that acting together was always the safest way. Baloo, Bagheera, and Kaa arrived at the monkey city and hid behind a giant elephant statue. They waited for the perfect moment to save Mowgli. Kaa whispered, "Now's the time. Go." Bagheera moved silently like a shadow to catch the monkeys. Then he scattered the monkeys around Mowgli with his powerful paws. The Banderlogs screamed in terror and fled.
Then he scattered the monkeys around Mowgli with his powerful paws, flinging them this way and that. The Banderlogs screamed in fear and fled.
Mowgli was saved, but one of the monkeys called for help, and soon many more surrounded Bagheera. A few caught Mowgli and locked him inside a walled chamber. At that moment, Mowgli remembered the great water tank among the ruins. He knew monkeys were afraid of water and shouted through a hole in the wall, "Bagheera, run to the water and jump in." Hearing his voice, Bagheera ran straight to the water tank and leapt in. At the same time, Baloo was attacked by the monkeys. They started to fight. Baloo fought with all his might, using his size and claws to frighten and drive them off. Poor Baloo struggled bravely against the swarm of monkeys. Then suddenly Kaa appeared. He threw himself into the middle of the monkeys, lashing his mighty tail, sending them flying. The monkeys panicked and ran away, for they had always feared Kaa. As they fled deep into the forest, Baloo finally caught his breath. Bagheera climbed out of the water. Mowgli shouted, "I'm here! Save me!" Kaa swung his strong tail and broke down the chamber walls with a single strike.
Freed, Mowgli threw himself outside. Baloo and Bagheera embraced him with affection.
Mowgli thanked them all for saving him. Then together they returned to their home. Tiger Khan realized that with such strong and loyal friends, he would never be able to harm Mowgli again. He gave up his hunt. Time passed and Mowgli became a young man who knew all the secrets of the jungle. Yet the curiosity in his heart led him one day to the edge of the village where humans lived. There, he met a woman. The moment she saw him, she froze, for this wild young man's eyes were just like the ones of the baby she had lost years ago in the forest. With a trembling voice, the woman asked Mowgli if he had a tiny crescent-shaped birthmark on his chest. Mowgli, who thought only he and his wolf mother knew of that mark, was astonished and showed it to her. At that moment, both realized they were mother and son. Baloo, Bagheera, and Kaa, with both sorrow and love, accepted that their friend had found where he truly belonged. They whispered farewell, promising they would always be brothers. Mowgli lived happily with his human family, but he never forgot the jungle that raised him, nor his loyal friends.